Well, top of the day and welcome to the MoJo Monday. We want to welcome everybody. This is a place where you can come be inspired, motivated, educated, and uplifted and affirmed. All those wonderful little adjectives here. So we want to welcome you. I'm Robert here at my home office in Granbury, Texas, and my co-host with the most.
Mr. Jim Rhodes up in St. George, Utah, actually a little further north where it's a little cooler than Texas. But we welcome everyone, especially those who are new or joining us tonight. We look forward to this call every week because none of these calls are scripted. This is just real and raw. These are people through their own experiences sharing them with us. And they are very, very inspiring almost every time we learn. And I take copious notes. So I want to thank everyone who's here, especially each of you. You are the VIPs on this line.
You are. You're doing what, Jim? We love to say what 95% of the planet don't do is what?
Show up. There you are.
You're here at Love and Light to you. So, all right. So what's in store tonight? We're going to hear from three different, actually newbies on the line tonight. And as well as actually even our guest speaker is a newbie. Not new to sports, fitness, and education, nutrition, wellness, and the whole professional journey, but definitely new to our community we love called Zalevo. So we're going to first, because I'm going to honor the first testimonial, which is pre-recorded because her sponsor and coach is here with us at a Christmas party. It's kind of hard to tell that. So Kathy Zahn, are you there? Merry Christmas. See if she could unmute.
There. I got it unmuted.
You did.
I'm on my cell phone, so it might be a little noisy in the background, but we are at a beautiful dinner Christmas party.
Yeah, and all your Zalevo community there. So please give a big hug to Kathy and Michael.
I will do that.
All right. So the story we're about to play for the group here is a lady you've been working with for only a few weeks now.
Actually, what happened is many years ago, over 10 years ago, I used to work with her on Saturday events for a previous company at the headquarters. And I have not talked to her in, like I said, over 10 years. And she doesn't get on Facebook all the time. She just happened to jump on Facebook and she saw a picture of me and was like, holy cow. And she sent me a text message and said, if you want an easy sell, call me.
That's cool.
I could get calls like that all the time. A text message like that would make my day every day.
True. So how about we play the testimonial, then you can give us a little quick recap again, and then we'll move on, let you get back to the party. How's that?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. So sit tight. As you know, the recording is only 2 minutes. So guys, we're going to play this because her name's Angel. She had another holiday event and that she was at as well. And so she was kind enough to hop on a little recording with Kathy and I. So bear with me. I'm going to play this little pre-recording with Angel's testimonial. So here we go and enjoy. Please turn up your volume on your devices. And here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Angel.
All right, you guys can hear that, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And I met Kathy several years ago when we were involved with a network marketing company together. And what I noticed after being off of Facebook for a few years, that when I came back onto Facebook, I saw Kathy there and saw her looking so trim and fit and was excited to know what it was that she was doing. So upon a phone call, she shared this product, Zalevo, And so I just jumped right in with a shock phone call to her and jumped right in with a full purchase and jumped right onto the system, myself and my husband included. And what we have noticed is just a tremendous, easy move shift into working their program the way it was worked. And what we found out about ourselves is that walking to the refrigerator or pantry was a habit. And over the few weeks we've been on the product, we have quit doing that as habit because we wanted to really maintain and stay on this system. But moreover, we're not in the habit of walking to the refrigerator aimlessly anymore. So what I've noticed is that each morning when I get on this really cool, whatever it's called, rainbow scale, is that every day, for the most part, it is dropping. And it's been really exciting to see my husband, who deals with chronic leukemia, that he has trimmed out and is looking more healthy and has more energy. And so that's been exciting to see. And as for myself, I find that I have just really trimmed, and it's exciting to fit into those clothes that I didn't used to fit into. And I look in the mirror, my face is thinner, my husband's face is thinner. It's been very exciting, and I'm looking forward to checking out the collagen in the next week and seeing what that added bonus does to my system. Be blessed.
Awesome. So Kathy, can you summarize Angel's kind of tangible results?
Okay, sorry about that. So it's crazy because it's only been 2 or 3 weeks, and she was used to fasting before, so she wanted to jump right into a burn. And I said, give yourself at least a week. And she was just so excited with the whole program. And I mean, to see her husband in just both of them in just 2 weeks is amazing to me. I mean, I know we have great stuff, but when I see it not only in myself, but with somebody else, it's just fun and exciting.
Yes.
So it's only been a couple of weeks. Her husband had quite a bit of inflammation in his neck from what's going on with him, and it's not there anymore.
Wow. And both of them are obviously shrinking as well, which is a good thing in this case.
Yeah, I had sent her a Renfo scale, and she was just beyond excited with that. And to see the BMI, her body mass index, go down in that short amount of time, she's just on fire. So excited.
Well, thanks for being who you are. Otherwise, she wouldn't have reached out to you, and their lives wouldn't be impacted this way. So, Kathy, love and light to you. Again, please give all of our Z amigos there a big hug for us.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. So yeah, Kathy and Z and Kathy Horn, there's several, and then Kathy Rose. Yeah, several Kathys in this community. They were all raving about Angel and how she's feeling. And again, she was on some great nutritional products, the same products that many of us were on for many years. So anyway, and now she has that next level of results. So speaking of that, in the same genre, this next lady is she's live on the line tonight. We've known each other, my goodness, Verna, how many years? At least 15, 16 years, if not more. You're muted, by the way. See if she can unmute there. Yeah.
Okay.
There you are.
We go.
How many years you think?
I want to say closer to 20.
Wow. Yeah, we go back and then
Because this is 23, and yeah. I'm always surprised when I see how long it's been since
I know
we met.
It's been quite the journey. We've been to many events together. Obviously, she already knew myself, Jim Rhodes, Jill Birth. She knew many of the individuals now in Zalevo. And more importantly on this call, for years, you were on some great nutritional, supplements, great products. You weren't any stranger to cleansing or fasting in this case. And then you and I reconnected again. It's only been about 2 months ago.
Probably about 2 months. Yep.
And we just had a
Yep.
heart-to-heart conversation. And if you want to pick it up from there, kind of why were you open, and then what's maybe even 2 or 3 of what you were looking for, and then now what's happened in the last few weeks would be great, Verna.
So over the years, I had been actually replacing a lot of previous products with things that I found that worked better for me. So it was getting kind of taxing to stay in that. And I had seen actually on Facebook, you and Jim had put some stuff up, and I looked into that, and I looked into the autophagy, and I just thought, this sounds really like something I would be interested in learning more about, but I didn't really make any moves. I had several years, actually about 5 years of surgeries, healing, coming back from surgeries. And I really just needed something next level. And I knew that. So I talked to you and I talked to Jim, and I decided to give it a try. And I did my first burn pretty quickly because I was really anxious to get into that. And I was shocked and amazed actually at how well supported I felt through that with the all the products, and a much better experience than I've had in the past. And I was able to go a lot longer. And then my second one just got, easier, and I'm getting ready to start one on Wednesday. So what I was looking for, basically, I was looking for energy. I was looking for better sleep. I was looking for more mental clarity. I had just been in such a funk for so long that I just found myself really not really caring about anything, just getting through the day. And I am now I'm just loving my life again. I've always been super busy, but it was that kind of busy where at the end of the day, I just felt like, I couldn't take another step. And so what I'm able to accomplish now in a day is it's fun. I'm having fun with my days, getting a lot of stuff done, catching up with a lot of things. I'm loving it all. Sleeping well, good focus. And I know that as soon as my body, so I've had stomach stapling surgery many years ago, and I still can only eat little bits at a time. And over the years, it's just wrecked my metabolism, not eating. And I know that as soon as, I have dropped some weight, probably about 11 pounds, but I know that when my body starts trusting that I'm going to keep nourishing it, that it's just gonna, that and the movement, I'm moving so much more. I know that the weight is just gonna just follow.
Well, the most important thing is your health, and from
Yep,
that
absolutely.
inner outer transformation that we're seeing. So Verna, yeah, I just love the journey you're on, and I can hear the shift. I can see the shift every time we connect. We've had some great conversations already the last few weeks, and I'm grateful you were open. So thank you for being here.
I'm grateful you were there.
Yeah, you bet. Jim, any comments around, Verna's story there?
Wow, both those stories are powerful. And what's really fun about each of them is rather than survive the day, it is such a joy to see people who are thriving through the day. And what we originally were talking about, you can pass up the the refrigerator.
Yeah.
You don't make those trips because your body is not craving things so badly, because suddenly you've got a full spectrum meal going in you at least once a day, if not twice.
How many of us can relate to reduced cravings and feeling a more satiation?
Oh,
That is so huge, because
it is huge.
in order for it to be a lifestyle change, which it's got to be, if you're going to be permanently in this good health, then the cravings have to go away, or else you'll go back to old habits, and then you'll get what you were always getting, versus getting life not just longer, but at such higher quality, mentally as well as physically.
Very true, Jim. Yeah, Verna's nodding her head there and smiling. So
yeah. Just thinking about the trips that I have coming up that I told you about, that I want to be really just, be able to really fully partake in and not feel like death warmed over at the end of the day.
wow, that's a big one, isn't it? That
Very big.
quality of life and life experience is something we're all seeking. So I'm excited for you and with you, Miss Verna. And
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sit tight. This next story is beautiful as well. All these stories, there's so many beautiful stories. And speaking of that, it's been, how can I say this, Miss Sherry? It's been, I'm sure, we all know, those that know you personally, it's been a very emotional past year. You've had some major changes in your life. For those about to hear this next story, Sherry, her hubby now, her sweetheart, a sweetie, she called him, is now up in heaven. And they had you can tell us how many years in a moment. Sherry Knight, and she is here because of Barb and Carol. So Barb, do you want to say a couple other things as we introduce Miss Sherry? Barb, you're muted, dear.
Sorry, I always forget to do that. Yeah, Sherry and I met, several years ago as part of a mastermind. And she was always one of those that was absolutely so put together. She always looks, I didn't care whether it was 7 o'clock in the morning. And she always looked so put together. But then over the couple of years, we started talking, and it's just like, what, sometimes appearances can be a little deceiving. And so she had a couple of things that she was dealing with that, you don't normally talk about. So she's had a great story, and she has had an emotional year, which she'll tell you about. So
thank you, Barb. Miss Sherry Knight up in Regina, Saskatchewan. So welcome, Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an interesting story because Barbara and Carol were the ones that introduced Salevo to me, but it took about a year of me listening and sorting things out in my own head, and actually got into it for my husband because he was having some health issues, major problems. And so January the 9th, I know the day, we started him on Salevo of this year. And with Salevo, he was able to lose 40 pounds, although that wasn't the issue that we were addressing definitely. But it was to help him with his legs and his overall general health. And so it was very helpful. He was able to stand and talk to people for up to about 20 minutes. Before that, he couldn't do that for more than 3 or 4 minutes. He was able to walk up and down. We live in a 3-story house. He was able to walk up and down the stairs much more readily than he had been in the past. And on top of it all, he lost 40 pounds. So with the help of Jim, because we had several conversations with Jim, he did very, very well. And unfortunately, time progresses. And even though he was doing so much better, in fact, had a chat tonight with an individual who said, oh yeah, he was just doing amazingly. And then he was gone. He had a heart attack and passed away. So one never knows. And so that aspect of looking after yourself, because of what I saw that John was able to do for himself, I started it. And so far I've lost about 16 pounds. I have much more energy. And one of the things that I neglected to mention when we were talking earlier was I've noticed that the crepey skin on my arms is not as crepey. I love it. So various kinds of things, but very helpful in terms of getting people to where we need to be. So really
Yeah.
pleased that Barbara introduced me to it and that I acted on it after listening for so long.
Yeah, and that's a great lesson in and of itself. Those of us on this line who do share and bless other people's lives, you never know. Well, it's all about timing, and definitely was for you and John. And what I loved about the pre-brief earlier, because we're putting together a little what's called a little buzz post. So Sherry's writing a little snippet story. She's going to post it and share about the story of her and John. But as we were doing that, it's about quality of life, isn't it, Sherry?
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah. And especially the last few months there with John as well. So love and light to you, Sherry. Look forward to this journey and blessing more lives as well. Thank you for having the courage to be on here, and for Carol and Barb, equally for having the courage to share the story. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Please.
Can I say something to Sherry? Sherry, you're my closest neighbor probably from all these people. I'm only 40 miles from the border. And
Where are you?
I'm in Tioga, North Dakota.
Ah, okay. Not too far away.
Not at all. Not at all. That's all.
Wonderful.
I
go
love
to
that.
Regina. I go to Regina frequently for facials.
Oh, I'm here.
I'll connect you guys on Facebook, so maybe you can grab coffee or something. So
Sure.
no, seriously. So yeah, so is there any doubt? And Ross, you're new to this community. As you're not new, as I mentioned. Another story, Ross, other day we were talking about this. We go back about 26 years.
I think even longer than that. It might be. I was trying to think of that. It was somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah, somewhere in the 80s. I know. No, actually, it was in 1992 when I joined this Canadian company. It was my second, but my first serious network marketing venture, and happened to be a company based out of Toronto. And
Right.
Ross and I have several mutual friends, even to this day, tied to that venture. Ross and I both were with that. It was called Lifestyles out of Canada. And they had these high fiber, these diet cookies, high in fiber. You eat the cookie, you drink some liquid, and it would expand, wouldn't it, Ross? Quite well.
Yeah. It kept you going.
It kept you going as well, pretty high in carbs, but hey, it worked. And then we introduced something like kind of a, not quite the next generation, but it was an adaptogenic type of herbal type of tonic, which blessed people in all kinds of ways. So we had a good run with that company. And then through the years, we've simply stayed in contact, social media, and not communicating much really, but we just, but years go by, and then we connected through a couple of little events on Facebook, and which led to a phone call, which led to a call with with Jill and Jim, and here you are, Ross, and you're now excited about. You may have a tussle with Sherry, but I'm going to challenge one of you to be the first platinum in Canada ever in history, first of many. Are you up for the challenge, Ross and Sherry? So,
Let's go, Sherry.
yeah, let's go. And so you've been in sports and nutrition. I was reading up a little bit. I apologize for not requesting your bio earlier. You can kind of sum that up for us, but you go way back, and you're also a very successful realtor in the Kelowna, British Columbia area, along with your wife, Teresa. I know you love your family. You're a family man, grounded in core values, and you're excited about Zalevo. So I guess one of my first questions is kind of what, for the group here, kind of what intrigued you initially, and then what's happening. And then we'd love to pick your brain around sports nutrition in general. So go ahead, Ross.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert. And hello to everybody. Glad to be here and get to meet you. And Sherry, I'm actually from Saskatchewan, in the big town of Unity. So I know exactly where Regina is. But over the years, I started studying nutrition, when I was 16 years old, because I got into weight training and fitness, grew up on a farm in Unity, Saskatchewan. And that's where I started studying nutrition, and I just loved it and soaked it all in and things like that, and got into the bodybuilding and competing and learning more about nutrition. So I just grew into that industry naturally. And along the way, I owned a health food store, a gym, some grocery stores, and then competed in the bodybuilding and judged all the bodybuilding shows. So I was exposed to the nutritional products that companies produced for athletes out there. And they always had good advertising, and the products were supposed to work, of which most of them didn't do what they said they would. So you switched and did something else and things like that. And so then thank you, Robert, for getting in touch with me on these products, because there's ingredients in there that most people or companies don't put in their products. And those are the ingredients that make it all work and make it synergistic and effective for what they're supposed to do. So that's pretty exciting when you have a product like that, where you put it in your body and it's actually working and giving you the result that you're looking for. For me, I'm probably the opposite of most people, where I'm always trying to gain weight, but it's a lean weight that I'm looking for and putting more muscle on. And so when you use these products for that purpose in a certain manner, that's exactly what's going to happen. And so I can go through some of the products and explain a little bit about what they do and how they work. And Verna, when you're on holidays, you can use some of these if you're going out walking, and give you more energy and sustain you, over a period of 6 hours. You'd really enjoy that, but you probably use most of them anyway. It's just the timing that you put them in the body. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to hear, first of all, kind of I know we were swapping texts even the first day. One of your comments was you loved how you even felt when you first began to put some of the products in your own body. I'd love to hear a little bit about that too, kind of the difference you felt.
Yeah, certainly. So before going to the gym, Alpha, right? That's the pre-workout product, and anybody can use. You don't have to be an athlete to use that, because when you put that in your body, you are creating an environment to pick up more oxygen, have more energy. The creatine in there causes the cells to hold more water and create more strength of the body through turgor pressure. A lot of people think it's because the muscle's getting bigger, but it's the water and the cells pressing against each other that create the strength. And
it's called turgor pressure.
Turgor pressure, yeah. So the cells are expanding against each other and creating that water pressure against each other. And so when you're lifting in the gym, it gives you the ability to lift more weight in the gym. So you're getting stronger from that and working harder, and it gives you a bigger effect working out. And then the pump that you get in the muscle from the product in there is phenomenal. Like within 15 minutes of taking that, I can feel it working. So I make sure that I take it when I'm just heading out to the gym, because or if you're going to be active, that's the time. That's the key, is the timing of taking that product.
Yeah, so many of us, Ross, I know, talk about this. How many of us aren't a bodybuilder, but you love the Alpha? Yeah,
Haven't tried it.
Yeah, and again, the team, the Zalevo Labs team, kind of, wouldn't you agree, Jim? They kind of launched this, Ross, as more of a pre-active life type, drink. Any comments around that, Ross? How can the average person who does not, maybe aren't even focused on so much getting pumped or whatever, but how can it really help the average person?
So a lot of the people that I've worked and trained with over the years are people that just want to be more fit.
Yeah.
So they want to go for walks, and some of them found they were out of breath or didn't have the energy to sustain themselves during the walk. This is the product to take 20 minutes before, 15 to 20 minutes before going on a walk, riding a bike, any kind of physical activity, whether it's moderate or, competitive athletes using it. So easy to use, so easy to use. Mix it in the water, and it sustains you easily for a good hour or longer, and even in your system for about 6 hours.
Yeah, that was a comment many of us have, is that, Russ, I know you're still learning more, even the anecdotal side of this. How many of you feel the difference there on the alpha, like 4, 5, 6 hours into the usage? Yeah, Ross, we're getting such prolonged, results from this product as well.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So that's the product that you use before going to do any kind of physical activity, whether it's walking, running, biking, sports, going to the gym, working out. And, not everybody trains in the gym for a bodybuilder. That's a small community. A lot of people are there just to be in shape and get in shape and look better, feel better, and have more energy. But anybody can use that product. And then the next step after that, you're working out, and then you get this key product right here. Whole meal replacement. Don't have to think about mixing a bunch of different things together. You've got everything there, from protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And my background is nutrition. I used to teach nutrition and write nutritional programs for people. Very hard to put nutritional programs together and get all the nutrients in the food that you eat. So this makes it so easy. And then I add build to it after working out, and that increases the recovery after working out or walking, riding the bike. You're within 20 minutes of your exercise regime. You want to add that to it, because the body is like a sponge after working out and needs those nutrients to pick up. The first thing your body will do after working out is restore energy level. And so you want to restore the energy level, then it goes to work on repairing the muscle tissue and that you've broke down during your workout or walk or riding the bike. And so those two products work super well together.
And how would you summarize, because you've looked at all kinds of, and I'm sure used pre and post workout formulations like we're talking about here. Is there, what are 2 or 3 of the big differences you see with our particular, especially those, the alpha and the build versus other pre and post?
Yeah, it's the synergy of the products in there. You've got the minerals in there, which are your enzymes that help everything else work in the body and make things happen. The probiotics that are in there. The alpha has the tart cherry for inflammation. You're going to work out, that's going to cause inflammation in the muscle, and you need that for recovery as well too. The creatine that's in the alpha for the pre-workout, good quality creatine in there that makes it work. And the guarana, a lot of products will have caffeine from coffee, so it gives you a jolt, not a sustained energy there, whereas guarana is slow release in the system and no big highs and downs with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Has this sparked some additional questions, guys, as Ross goes through some of this? Again, this is an interactive call, so feel free to chime in here, guys. And one of the misconceptions, my background is endurance athletics. As an endurance athlete, I always thought these pre and post type of products and formulations were for individuals who are focused on the gym, not so much endurance. What's been your experience? I know of me, I love my results, obviously. What would you say to the individual focused on that side of athletics?
So on the endurance side, the alpha is a really important part, going in 15 to 20 minutes before going on a bike ride or running for endurance. And then after you finish the workout, the build for recovery, and then you can take the E-Vibe, right? E-Vibe for sustained energy if you have downs in the afternoon, that type of thing. Follow up with that later in the day, and you'll really be buzzing throughout the day.
Yeah, how many of us have had more than one E-Vibe in a day? Or maybe alpha, E-Vibe, combination?
Yeah. I've mixed the E-Vibe in a drink afterwards. And generally my energy level is always up there anyway. I pour a lot of food in during the day as well too, because of the weight training. It takes a lot of calories to sustain the energy and repair the muscle tissue and things like that. So on a down day, I'm taking in about 3,000 calories. On a higher day, I'll take in 5,000 to 6,000 calories.
Yep.
And whereas people that are trying to lose weight, they're running down around 12 or 1,500 calories and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that on one of these calls, I've got some people that I'm training for shows. I'll have them on the call and they can explain how they're using the product and how it's working for them. So
yeah, by all means, as we get into the new year, right now, there's so many holiday festivities that would be invaluable to bring some of them on. One of my questions, anybody else curious about, I know our primary, hopefully you all know, and Jim, you've been asking about every couple of weeks, when's the plant-based, okay, coming out. I have to, anybody excited about the plant-based Ultra 30? Okay, it's the formulation's done and we're about to run it through the production line. That being said, Ross, I'd love to get your comment. I know in the past, it was like, we all knew whey was that premier, easy to absorb. And then it became like whey concentrate was one of the most invaluable. And now it's like whey isolate. I don't mean to get too sciencey or nerdy here for the people on the line, but to me, sometimes people ask us, well, what's the difference? Can I go just buy a $15 shake from Walmart and yours cost 55 or 60? What's the difference? Ross, I'd love to get your comment on what makes the protein in our whey-based shake unique.
Yeah, there's a huge difference when you buy the product from Walmart or the stores. And that's because you've got essential and non-essential proteins. So you've got to have a complete protein. And plant-based proteins, unless they're mixed properly, they don't have the right ratio of the complete and incomplete proteins. So the absorption and how much protein is available to the body just isn't there. So that's why a good quality plant-based protein is important. And also my background as a nutritionist, I've studied different modalities, and one of them is eating for your blood type. So as an example, A-type blood is eating less animal protein, more vegetables. So the plant-based protein is better for them. And my wife, my wife Lucy, it's Lucy, not Teresa.
Oh, I apologize.
It's a Teresa. We won't tell her that. But my wife is type A blood, and we find the plant-based protein works really well for her.
I love it. And by the way, remind me, Ross.
Got her hand. Yeah.
Let's remind Jim and myself, remind us, and we'll send you the leucine, isoleucine, valine breakdown, because our plant-based has a beautiful blend of that what you're referring to as far as those necessary aminos. Don't you agree, Jim? Once we saw the breakdown of what's actually both, we have this magical array, and the new plant coming or the way, we have that beautiful ratio, if you will. So
That's the thing that's hard to do with plant-based, but Sherry's got her hand up there. Go
Okay.
ahead, Sherry.
My question, I've used the New Zealand whey protein even before getting involved here. So help me understand why New Zealand whey protein is better than others. And you're talking about plant versus, I'm assuming, animal.
Mhm.
Help me understand the background of all that, because I don't have a clue.
Yeah, so the New Zealand-based protein, it's from grass-fed beef. So if you're feeding beef grains, and if we eat a lot of grains too, we'll get inflammation in the body, and that reflects in the production of the protein, which can cause inflammation in the body. So grass-fed is really important. And then there's the hormone side of things too, where the animals aren't fed the hormones and affecting the protein process as well too. So really important. That's why that whey protein concentrate is really important.
So the whey protein that we're using in Zalevo,
Mhm.
being from New Zealand, that is then the proper animal base, grass
That's right.
fed, etc.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
Good question.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
If I could just drop this thought too, it's not what's always just in it, it's all of what's not in it. Like was mentioned by Ross, the New Zealand process of if you're in the dairy industry, there's a law that they cannot give their dairy cattle any growth hormones. There's a law that they cannot feed them on any substance that has pesticide or herbicide, and that they're grass-fed about 360 days out of the year, and no antibiotics. So when we're taking the milk and getting the whey from the milk is just liquid cow. Whatever the cow ate, it is, the milk is. Ours is that pure from New Zealand. It's that pure, it's that clean, and it's undenatured, so it hasn't been heat treated and changed up molecularly. All of those things make it a superior, and as Ross has so well said, the amino acid profile, which is a fancy word of saying everything that's essential that the body needs in its protein side are called amino acids, are in that combination, or in our whey protein.
Yeah, and one of the things that they've discovered in studies is that, as an example, some of the animal feed that is produced, they use fish meal, and those fish have been treated with antibiotics and hormones, ground up into the meal, and the animals eat that food. They become inflamed from eating the fish. We eat the animals, and we get that same effect in our body. So it's a chain reaction. That's how powerful that can be. So
So
yeah.
another question, if I may, then from what you're saying, Ross, the grass fed, then that's organic grass as well. There's no herbicides on that, no
pesticides.
pesticides, growth hormones, etc., that we give to plants to make them bigger, better, etc. So there's none of that.
That's right. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, great questions, Sherry. And it's fun, isn't it? Because, you know, Barna's we've heard this similar story with for a couple of decades plus now. And Sherry, sounds like you're kind of hearing some of the intricacies of what makes this unique, for the kind of sounds like most of it's new to you. Yes, Sherry? Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that, you know, you hear people say you are what you eat, and literally you really are. Not only are you what you eat, but you also are what you eat. No way
Yeah,
around
it's
it.
what you don't eat sometimes that is better for you.
Sure.
Yes.
One of the other products that I just want to mention is Drench, because I find a lot of people are dehydrated. You know, you may be taking in water, or if you drink coffee, that dehydrates you, or if you're a soda drinker, same type of thing. You're taking in extra phosphorus, your minerals are out of balance. It affects your body using calcium for bone density, that type of thing. So the Drench is a great drink to have to become hydrated, along with the minerals, and just feel better. Yeah, and you can always check your hand, pull your skin, and see how quickly it comes down, and see how dehydrated you are. If it doesn't go down very quick, got to get some water in. And it's how well your body will absorb that water. So the Drench really helps with that.
May I add this too? The Drench is the Cadillac of giving electrolytes to the body, because it has the sodium, the potassium, the magnesium, and the chloride. Whereas the famous, drinks that are supposed to have electrolytes, you're lucky if they have two. Plus, they are loaded with artificial everything else, from sweeteners to colors to things you don't want. This Drench is hydration at cellular level, an intelligent hydration, where it gets the water inside the cell where it's needed, like you're saying, so they can push against each other and all the things that happen when you're hydrated correctly.
I have a question for the group as well. What time of day, from the practical standpoint, when are we all taking our Drench? Like, it's common for me, Ross, this may surprise you, but a lot of times I will take a big thing of my Drench right before bedtime, because I know I've historically, chronically haven't hydrated well, to be quite transparent. And I can drink that. I sleep like a baby, but I know that my body is kind of soaking up, my cells are soaking up and hydrating as well while I sleep. I'd love to hear some other comments. What time of day are you taking your Drench as well?
Yeah, that's a great way to take it, is at the end of the day like that, because generally you wake up in the morning and you're dehydrated. So that's good, but again, it's a personal preference. If you were working out and you sweat a lot, you've lost a lot of your electrolytes. So that would be the time after the workout to take that, and it would just be drinking more water during the day. So that would kind of be a better time if you worked out and lost those electrolytes during the workout.
Yeah, Heaven, Jess, do you have a recommended for those who do want some extra carbs because they're replenishing some of the glycogen? Do you have, I don't ask all my nutritionist buddies this, but I would like to ask you, because you've been around sports so much, like knowing there's no sugar added to any of these products, do you have a fun, good carb to add?
It's funny, when I was competing, my go-to carbs were Tutti Frutti baby food.
Tutti
Easy
Frutti
to digest.
Love that
It
stuff.
had fast release, slow release, and sustained release carbohydrates in it. It tasted good, because so, I found that worked out really well, and it was easy to take.
That's funny, because we asked Kirsty the same question, and she said, heck, it's cheap, but just find what works for you, what sits well in your tummy, come for goodness sake. Yeah.
So, yeah, and here's the other thing that I was doing as well, is I cut up a bunch of fresh fruit. So a half an apple, a half a pear, an Asian pear, half an Asian pear. And then I'll put cherries in there. You can buy the frozen cherries, because anti-inflammatory there. So I'll have that all mixed up. And then sometime during the afternoon after I've worked out, I'll have a bowl of that fruit and add about a quarter of a fresh banana to it. And then here's the kicker, because you've got all that fruit, it has the pulp of the fruit that slows the release of glucose into the system down, so you don't get the big climb of blood sugar. But what I also do, and I don't use dairy, but in this particular case, I use whipping cream because of the fat in the whipping cream. It's enteric. It just enough in there to coat the fruit to slow the release of the glucose down in the system. And then I'll put coconut cream because there's no cholesterol on it. So you get a very sustained energy level from those carbohydrates that you take in.
Wow, I would love to get your recipe for that one. I got
Yeah.
I'm
The
gonna message
athletes
you
that I
for
get
one.
using that, they love it. They think, wow, man, this is fantastic.
I'm leaning forward because it sounds as delicious as it is good for you.
I know I'll pass on the recipe, Jim. We'll post it in the Wake Up Healthy group. So
Thank you, Ross.
that sounds yummy. So
Another-
Ross,
Another recipe that I do is I'll have and it depends on what I'm doing, but for added carbohydrates is I'll have rice already cooked up. And I'll take some sultana raisins, pour boiling water on them so they soften up, drain the water off. I'll add it to the rice. A little bit of cinnamon, sprinkle cinnamon on, and again, a little bit of whipping cream, liquid whipping cream. And you've got some rice pudding. And again, you got the slow release of the carbohydrates into the system for a sustained energy.
yes,
I'm gonna go make that right now.
Yeah, isn't that
Can
delicious?
I come over?
All right.
you got some fun recipes, Ross. I can't wait to just work with you further and bless even more lives together. A couple of, before we go to Ross for the kind of a final comment here, and Jim, as far as announcements real quick, we do have every Wednesday night, we have a call that we're launching into Canada, as most of you know, and we do a Canadian opportunity call every Wednesday night. And those of you interested, we do what's called an Elevate training. It's for the builders on the line who want more leadership training on that note. And then we will kick this off. This is the last MoJo Monday of this year. And then kicking off in January, again, we'll have more calls like this and go from there. And as I said earlier, those of you who want that core value, even more faith-based leadership development, that's Mondays and Friday mornings as well. And Jim, other announcements before we go to Ross for a closing thought here?
Not that I know of. This was all music to my ears. I live listening to Ross. I'm going to sit at his feet a lot more. Thank you.
Amen to that. Ross, love to get a closing thought. Even if somebody watched this recording, even that's a little skeptical, even, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, if you're skeptical about the product, then I would suggest putting it in your body. That'll take away any skepticism you have there.
Right.
In fact, when I was at the gym today, there were guys working out, and I had talked to them about the product, and for that very reason, they're going to try the products and get on them and things like that. I had another fellow that I've been talking to. He ordered some product. He's going to use it and keep us posted on social media and be posting it out there, what it's doing for him. So it's put the stuff in your mouth and the result will be there.
Yes, it will. And we've seen even more proof of that tonight. And Ross, thanks for being here. Thanks, ladies. Thank you, Sherry, Verna. We'll make sure we pass along to Angel. Thank her. Thank you, Jim, as always. Love and light to you, big brother.
Thank you. Thank you for putting this together. So are we all going to be a force for good?
I think so.
We'll, at a count of three, we'll yell force for good. And if you want to throw your hands in the air because you feel that good, do so. 1, 2, 3. Force
for good.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, golly.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, everybody. Nice meeting you.
See you next year.
Thanks for sharing, everyone.
Thanks, ladies.